Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is lecture number 4 of this chapter, physical quantities and measurement. So today what we'll discuss? Today we are going to discuss how to calculate the density of a irregular shape body. So our topic is to determine the density of a body of irregular shape. Now let's understand it. What is a regular shape? First, before going to irregular shape, we have to know what is a regular shape. A regular shape is a cube, cuboid, a sphere, and cylinder. We have learned about these things. Shape of a cube, cuboid. Cuboid is something like this. Sphere, cylinder. To get so these are called the regular shapes. And what is irregular shape? Irregular shape is of any shape. Okay, like this shape, okay, this. Now the problem is to get the volume of a regular shape is quite easy, because we just need to put the formulas. For cube, side cube; for cuboid, length into breadth into height; for sphere, 4 by 3 pi r cube; for cylinder, pi r square h. We have discussed all these things in lecture number 2. What we will do in this part is, for regular shape is what? I think we have discussed in all these things in lecture number 3. In the previous lecture we have discussed all these things. But to get the volume of irregular shape, I don't have a formula. Okay, we don't have any formula for irregular shape. For irregular shape, we don't have a formula. Okay. So that is where the problem comes. We don't have a formula of volume. We don't have a formula of volume for the irregular shape. For regular shape too, we have formulas of volume to calculate. We have the formulas to calculate the volume. But for irregular shape, we don't have any formula, and to be honest, it is not possible to find any formula for any irregular shape. Now if we can't find the volume, can we find the density? No. So if we don't have a way to find we don't have a formula to find the volume, then how to determine the density? So that is our topic. For regular shapes, we can get the mass by using a beam balance. We can get the volume using the formulas, and mass by volume will simply give you the density. But the problem is over here, we can calculate the mass. We can calculate the mass using a beam balance. That is very easy. Mass we can calculate. But to calculate the volume, I don't have a formula. So as I don't have a formula to calculate the volume, then can I determine the density? Can I determine the density of these bodies? Is a question mark. Can I find? The answer is very simple. Yes, we can find the density even the shapes are irregular. Then also we can find the density. Then the question comes, okay, but sir, we don't have a formula to find the volume. Okay, we don't have a formula to determine the volume, but we can find the volume by some other ways, by some different ways. So we have to calculate the volume of irregular shape not by formula but by other means. And what are those other means? We have to discuss in this lecture. So you got an idea. So what we will do in this lecture, we will find the different ways to calculate the volume of irregular shape bodies. I am repeating once again. I will determine the volume of irregular shapes not by formula but by different means. And what are those different ways or different means we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So you understood this part? So let's see what are the different ways. Now when you are child, when you are small, have you heard of this story? A crow was very thirsty, and to quench his thirst he found a pot, but in the pot the water was very down below. His beak was not long enough to reach the water. So what he did? The crow used a method. He found some stones and he put the stones one by one into the pot. As a result, the level of water risen and it went to that level where the beak of the crow can reach the water, and the crow easily quenched the thirst and flew away. So the concept is, this is the pot, okay, this is the pot, and you have the water till here, you have the water only till here. So what he did, he found some stones, he found some stones and he put the stones one by one into the pot. As a result, as he put the stones one by one, lot of stones, then the water level which was down below, it got till here. The water level risen till here, this water risen, and the crow which was sitting over here, easily his beak reached over here and he quenched his thirst. So this idea of from the story of the thirsty crow, I think the name of the story was Thirsty Crow, we will use in today's topic. Yes, we are going to use that story which we have learned long time back when you are in KG or LKG or class 1 in today's topic. Exactly. So the thing is that you have to know over here is something like this. Firstly, we will take a measuring cylinder. I told now in previous lecture, lecture number 3, that measuring cylinder is very important. So we are going to use a measuring cylinder in this topic. So I will use a measuring cylinder. Okay, till here. And the water, suppose I am calibrating it. Suppose that initially the water was still here. Initially the water was still here. This is the level of water. And suppose that is 40 ml. So how much water do we have? Initially 40 ml of water. Now what we do? We have the irregular shape body. This is the irregular shape body. Suppose this is the stone that you find in the roadside. So this is the stone of irregular shape. You can see this shape is very irregular, okay? We take the stone, tie it with a string. We tie the stone with a string and put the stone inside the water. Okay, take the stone and put the stone inside the water. So I will take the stone tied by a string and put it inside the water. As I drop the stone inside the water, what I get to see is that the level of water risen. So the level of water came till here. So this is till here. So suppose this is 60 ml. So as I dropped the stone inside the measuring cylinder, the water risen. And here is the jackpot I got. Here is the jackpot. The amount of water or the volume of water that got increased, that is equal to the volume of the irregular shape body. Again I am repeating. So the volume of the water that got increased, that is only the volume of the irregular shaped body. Very easy to understand. So I'm writing over here, volume of the irregular shaped body is equal to the volume of water increased. So in this example, how much the volume of water increased? See, you always take final minus initial. So final level is how much? 60 ml minus initial level 40 ml. So that is equal to 20 ml. So the volume of the irregular shaped body is how much? 20 ml. Volume of the irregular shaped body is 20 ml. But saying that, we know ml is not used, is a non-usable unit of volume. Okay, ml is a non-usable unit of volume, but centimeter cube is a usable unit of volume. So 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube, which we knew in lecture number 2. So 20 ml will be equal to how much? That will be equal to 20 centimeter cube. Clear? 20 ml will be equal to 20 centimeter cube. If 1 is 1, then it is 20 is 20. So this is how we have to determine the density of an irregular shaped body. So we take the use of a measuring cylinder. Easy to understand? We take the use of a measuring cylinder. There is another way also to determine the density of an irregular shaped body. If you know this thing, it is very good. I'm just teaching a little extra. Okay, it is there in your book, so that is why. Right now, we'll take the help of a Eureka can. So I think you know what is a Eureka can is that. Eureka can. We'll take the help of a Eureka can. And in the Eureka can, there is initially some level of water. So this is the level of water. Okay, we don't need to know how much level of water. On the other side of the Eureka can, on the spout side, we have a measuring cylinder. We have a measuring cylinder. Okay. So this is a Eureka can and this is a measuring cylinder. Okay. This is a measuring cylinder. Now see, what I will do over here is that I'll again take the same stone. Initially inside the measuring cylinder there is no water. Now as I drop the stone of irregular shape inside the Eureka can, what will happen? Some level of water will rise, so that there is a level of water that is going to increase, and the level of water that will increase, that will come out through the spout and will pour into the measuring cylinder. So the amount of water which is poured is still over here. This amount of water that is in the measuring cylinder is due to I have dropped this body. So from here, what you understood? The amount of water inside the measuring cylinder, that is equal to the volume of the irregular shaped body. So the volume of water, volume of the irregular shaped body is equal to the volume of the water in the measuring cylinder is equal to the volume of, say, liquid or the water, whatever, in measuring cylinder. So suppose over here amount of water that we have is say 20 ml of water that we have, that is the volume of this irregular shaped body is also 20 ml. Okay, so amount of volume of the water is equal to the volume of the irregular shaped body, because it is pretty much understood that this irregular shaped body requires a space. As it goes inside the water, it will, any matter has space, requires space, has space. So as it goes inside the liquid, it will require its own space. So as it takes up the space, it can take its own space by displacing some volume of water, and the volume of water that is this body is going to displace, the volume of water that this body is going to displace is equal to the volume of the body. So the volume of the water into the measuring cylinder is equal to the volume of this irregular shaped body. You have to know this thing. Okay, clear? So volume of the water into the irregular shaped body is equal to the volume of the volume of the water into the measuring cylinder is equal to the volume of the irregular shaped body. So this is the way to determine the density of a irregular shaped body. I hope you understood this part. This is the way to determine the volume of a irregular shaped body. So if you are able to determine the volume and mass, so we already can determine by using a beam balance. So now see, mass can be determined of a irregular shaped body. Answer is yes, by using a beam balance. Can we determine the volume of a irregular shaped body? Yes, by using this way or the previous way. Okay, by using this, actually this method is called displacement of water. This method is called displacement of water. I think you know the meaning of the word displacement. Okay, displacing the water. The water initially in the Eureka can got displaced through the sprout into the measuring cylinder. So I am displacing some water from the Eureka can into the measuring cylinder. That is why the method is called displacement of water. So by displacement of water method, can we determine the volume? Yes, we can determine the volume. As we can determine the mass as well as the volume, I think we can also determine the density, because density is nothing but mass by volume. As we know mass, as we know volume, it is very easy. I told you, if I know the mass and if I know the volume, there is no force in the entire universe which can stop me from getting the density. So I can get the density as I know the mass and volume. So I think this part is pretty much understandable to you. Now we will do a numerical related to this concept, and I'll give you one homework. And you do this homework, means you solve the sum and write the answer in the comment section. Clear? That is how you improve in physics. Numericals are easy only if you practice. So you have to practice. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, and please practice the numericals, because there is no other way to improve in physics other than practicing the numericals. I hope this is understandable. So let's see the numerical. So this is the numerical. So how to find the solution? So they are saying that the mass is 72 gram, initial volume is 24 ml, and final volume is 42 ml. So we have to draw a little bit of diagrams to make it more understandable. We have the measuring cylinder. Initially the amount of water that we have is 24 ml, and as we put the solid inside the water increased to 42 ml. Okay, this is the increase. So I need to find. So firstly, mass is very easy, mass 72 gram. But what I said in the previous question, volume of irregular solid is equal to volume of increased water. So volume of increased water. And make sure you write the statement. This statement is very important in the examination because for this statement you get some marks. Now how to get the volume of the increased water? Final minus initial. So final is 42 ml and initial is 24 ml. If we subtract it, how much we get? We get 18 ml. But we know ml is a non-usable unit of volume. So I have to convert that into centimeter cube. So 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube. So 18 ml will be equal to 18 centimeter cube. Okay. So we know this. So I got the volume. So volume I happen to got I got it very easily, which is how much? For volume is equal to 18 centimeter cube. Now if I talk about the mass is equal to 72 gram, which is given. Now I need to calculate the density. Now density is equal to mass by volume. We know this formula, mass by volume. So just put the formulas. 72 gram divided by 18 centimeter cube. When you divide, it comes 4 gram per centimeter cube. So 4 gram per centimeter cube is the density of the liquid in CGS unit. If I want the answer also in SI unit, if I want this answer in SI unit, how to get it? Till here you understood? I think you don't have a problem till here. Suppose you have the question that they are asking the answer in SI unit. And how to go from here? Then you write this thing. That's in lecture number 2 I have taught you that 1 gram per centimeter cube is equal to 1000 kg per meter cube. You have to use this relationship between the, I told you, relationship between the CGS unit of density and SI unit of density. So 1 gram per centimeter cube is 1000 kg per meter cube. So as a result, 4 gram per centimeter cube is equal to how much? 4 into 1000, that will be 4000 kg per meter cube. So it is very easy. Now for you, if I give you a sum to do, is this sum. Just changing the numbers, I'm doing nothing else. For you, I'll give the initial volume as say 14 ml. Okay, 14 ml, and final volume as 30 ml, and the mass is 96 gram. Okay, so I want the answer both in CGS and SI unit. I want the density in both CGS and SI unit. I hope you can do this sum, right? Now let's do one more sum like this, little hard, okay? Little hard. Let's see whether it is possible for you to do the sum or not. Because these are easy sums. If I take a little hard sums, let's see like whether you are able to approach the sum or not. Because the whole second sum is about the conversion of unit. I'll take my mass as say 1.5 kg. I'll take my mass as 1.5 kg. Clear? And say initial volume, I will take this as 400 ml. Okay, 400 ml. And the final volume, I'll take this as 650 ml. Now in this question, how to approach the sum? Because the problem is little different. The problem is about the unit. If you see the mass, what unit the mass is given? SI. If I convert the volumes into ml to centimeter cube, then I'll get the unit in CGS. And here is the problem. One unit in SI, another unit in CGS, then the whole confusion comes. Now how to approach this sum over here? It is quite easy actually if you think of it in a rationally. Mass, suppose I take the volume. Volume is how much? Volume of the body. Volume of the body is, I told you what? Final volume of water minus initial volume of water. Volume of body is equal to final volume of water minus initial volume of water. This is the formula. Now what is the final volume of water? Final volume of water is 650 ml. Initial volume is 400 ml. And difference is how much? 250 ml. So volume of the body is equal to how much? 250 ml. Now I know 250 ml. ml is not a usable unit of volume. So I'll convert that into centimeter cube. And 1 ml is 1 centimeter cube. So correspondingly 250 ml will become 250 centimeter cube. Very easy, because we know 1 ml is 1 centimeter cube. Using this relationship, I can get 250 ml, which I got from 650 minus 400. 250 ml, that will be equal to subsequently 250 centimeter cube. Clear? Mass. Now see, now this part is over. I have no problem with the volume. Now here comes the second problem to us, is mass. Now mass is how much? 1.5 kg. See, I need to convert this mass from SI unit to CGS, because I got the volume in CGS. I also need to convert the mass from the SI unit, because kg is the SI unit, to CGS. How will I convert? 1.5 kg to gram, multiply this by 1000. I think you know, from kg, if you are going to gram, you have to multiply by 1000. 1 kg is 1000 gram. 2 kg will be 2000. 3 kg is 3000. So what you are doing? You are actually multiplying by 1000. So that's why 1.5 kg will be 1.5 into 1000. That is equal to 15,000 gram. Now use these two values to get the answer. Use the two values. So density is equal to how much? Density is mass by volume. We know this formula. So mass is how much? 1500 gram. Volume is how much? 250 centimeter cube. If I divide 1500 by 250, it comes as 6 gram per centimeter cube. So I got the answer of density in CGS unit, 6 gram per centimeter cube. Now also I want the answer, suppose in SI unit. It is very easy. So if I want the answer in SI unit, what I need to do? I need to follow the simple relationship. 1 gram per centimeter cube is equal to 1000 kg per meter cube. So 6 gram per centimeter cube will be equal to 6000 kg per meter cube. So this is one answer in SI unit. This is the another answer in CGS unit. So I hope you understood how to do the sums. As we proceed, we will do some higher level of higher difficult sums. So the homework for you is that instead of 1.5 kg, suppose I give you 7.6 kg, 7.6 kg, right? Initial volume of water, suppose I take that initial volume of water as, say, okay, let's take a value like 250 ml, and final volume of water, say 250 440 ml. Okay, so you do this sum and get me the answer. Initial volume is 250, final volume is 440, and mass is 7.6 kg. So you need to convert this kg into gram, multiply by 1000. You need to find the volume of the body by subtracting, then converting the ml into centimeter cube, then dividing that by that, and you ultimately get the answer. So you write that both the answers in the comment section, the previous sum and this sum, and see, by this way I will find some good response from these three videos, the second, third and fourth video, then I can continue making the videos of this chapter. So do give me a positive response, okay? And anyways, so thank you very much. That's all for today. So I'll see you next week, or say I'll make the videos of the next part, that is the density bottle, relative density and flotation and sinking. These are the four topics left. Relative density with that, density bottle with that relative density, and flotation and sinking. I think by that we will complete this chapter. So we will require another 4-5 videos and we'll complete it. So till then, bye, take care.